guys and gals? Nary here from Drake Wing Gaming, some you know on Twitter the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Angels with Scaly Wings. So before we jump into it, I just wanted to let y'all know I'm an affiliate with Green Man Gaming. What that means is that there's going to be a link in the description of each video. You click that link, you go to their website, you get discounts on all the latest and greatest games, and I get commission based on whatever y'all buy. And my lovely girlfriend, Ella, is an artist, and she's taking commissions now. I've got links to her FA and her Twitter in the description if y'all want to throw some money at her for some art. Anyway, y'all, let's jump right back into this episode I am really not looking forward to, because... Anna, my love... Anna... Okay. Anyway, alarm chain, you're up. Let's get the heartache out of the way. Right off the bat. And the music, too. Okay, yeah, okay, we're just gonna make this as terrible as possible for me, aren't we? You know Anna, right? I've met her, yes. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say this. Those few words were enough. Dread sank in, and I already knew. Don't... I ignored his words and walked past him. Oh, no... Oh. When I turned the corner, there was no mistaking her. Anna was haphazardly covered by a sheet, leaving her tail and blood-stained hand exposed. In the end, she didn't even deserve full discretion. Are you okay? Is there anything that I can do? Let's just get this over with. Bryce gave me a concerned look, but then nodded. And there's more bad news. The blood we found on the first victim in town matches the DNA evidence found on the second victim at the power facility. Furthermore, the murder weapon and method appear to be the same across all three victims, and that's going to be a big problem for you. Why's that? Because with these three murders, Reza now qualifies as a serial killer. We won't be able to keep this whole thing quiet for much longer. Higher authorities, including the ministry in charge of your whole visit, will know about this soon. I have no idea what will happen once they do. I'm not sure what to say to that. I don't want to worry you, but we can be sure that action will be taken soon. I've been considering this possibility for a while. I think it might be best if you went back to your own world for now. This way we can take action before the ministry does, before this all becomes public. If we wait, we don't know what they'll do or how the public will react. With everything going on, it's too dangerous for you to stay here. No. No? This will be the worst possible time for me to leave. We've given up our PDAs and hardly have anything to show for it. We are owed several more generators, and let's not forget that Reza is still missing. If I leave now, the only thing I return home with is my life. I'll have lost everything else. We need those generators, Bryce. I have no idea if your authorities will continue to uphold our deal or what they do to Reza, but I'm not leaving until this is over. If that's your decision, then so be it. Anyway, let's get back on track. I called you here for a reason, Keegan. In addition to the murder, several things were stolen, among them your PDAs, batteries, and some components used to build generators. Does that ring any bells? Not really. Reza might have some knowledge of electronics, but I doubt he has enough to assemble one of your generators. Even if he had the parts. Strange. Even so, it's fair to assume Reza's involvement at this point. No one else has a greater motive to steal the PDAs, especially after what happened between him and Maverick. Unless someone wanted to frame Reza in order to sabotage this whole operation. Do you really believe that? Hey, I'm just saying that it's possible. I'll shelf that idea under possible, but unlikely. Hey, Chief, are we done here? Pretty much. Why do you ask? We just got a message from the higher-ups. You and Keegan are to report to the Ministry of Culture and Arts immediately. Immediately? As in right now? Yeah, apparently. What's going on? To be frank, I don't know. This is an extraordinary situation, and now that it's getting out of hand, they must want to address it. Maybe it's not going to be a big deal. Maybe. I suppose we'll see soon enough. Sebastian, can you finish up here and go to the ministry once you're done? We'll probably have to make some arrangements after this meeting. Sure thing, Chief. Let's go then, shall we? It's not like we have a choice. Oh, there she is. The big grouch herself. With her delicately painted claws. That was quicker than I expected. I wouldn't have minded waiting out here a little longer. Greetings, Minister. Greetings. Shall we go inside for our official business? No, I've got everything I need right here. It gets so stuffy inside on hot days. My assistant doesn't seem to mind, but I prefer the fresh air. I'd rather just stay right here unless you have any objections. One second, y'all. Coffee time. I don't. I see. Well, I know I haven't exactly been up to date in regards to Reza's sudden disappearance, but to get the message today that he is a confirmed serial killer was quite shocking. Frankly, I'm curious as to why the facts of this case have been withheld from me for so long. Simply because they weren't within your jurisdiction. The murders were strictly a police matter. Only with the amount of new evidence, namely the DNA and blood we found in these 3 murders now being linked together, and to him did your ministry have to become involved. I see. So Reza's involvement is now undeniable. I'm afraid so, Minister. Facts are nothing to be afraid of, though in light of all this, I'm starting to worry about my personal safety. With our thick hides, I don't think our species has much to fear if we consider the murder weapon. Speak for yourself. You don't think someone of my standing needs protection? Oh, for sure. If you're worried about your personal safety, we could look into an escort for you. Good. Considering all the murders took place during the night, I'll certainly need it. Long days are endemic in my line of work. But that's enough about myself. We now face the question of what should be done about Reza and Keegan. Minister, we continue our hunt for Reza every day. As a matter of fact, Keegan has been helping us do so for a while now. Is that so? One human a murderer, another a detective. Interesting. And how do we know Keegan isn't following a similar plan to Reza's, whatever that may be? Similar concerns were leveled by Reza's escort, Maverick. It was his overreaction that caused Reza to run away in the first place. Let the human talk for once, Chief. Please, Keegan, enlighten me. You and Reza came here on the same mission, and the situation has escalated beyond our interactions. What you tell me now will determine the actions I'll take on this matter. Maybe you should start by telling me your side of the events from the beginning. Reza was fine during his early days here. Things only went wrong after you arrived. I opened my mouth, but Bryce spoke first, determined to defend me. Arguably, the problems that caused all this were apparent even then. How so? Maverick suspected Reza of planning something, but I didn't think he had a case. Well, did he? No. What he had was a suspicion. The night he followed Reza, he found both him and Keegan at the portal. The humans intended to send one of their promised generators through, but there was a confrontation that ended up with both Maverick and Keegan wounded and Reza running away. Reza's been missing ever since. I've read the reports already, Chief. The question is, did Maverick cause this, or did he just fail to prevent it? I have no way of knowing that, Minister. You just mentioned your apparent knowledge of problems back then. Problems may not have been the right word. Let's just say Maverick's attitude was not helpful during that encounter. Why did you choose Maverick as his escort in the first place? Protection for the human ambassador was my greatest concern when I made that decision, and Maverick was the most capable individual in that regard. Well, that worked out nicely, didn't it? You also seem to think that Maverick shouldn't have remained Reza's escort. Is that true? Yes, had I paid more attention to the warning signs, the situation may have been avoided. So you accept responsibility for the incident? Yes, Minister. I see. Now, let us get back to the topic of Keegan. Reza was your partner in humanity's mission to come to this world. His list of criminal activities not only includes murder, but also theft of generators, electronic components, and the PDAs your people gave to us. I understand why Bryce would reason that you could help the investigation, but we have no other choice but to be suspicious of Reza's partner. What was your motivation when you agreed to help us? Water time! Hey, yo, it's water time, but don't you have some water of mine? Sorry, y'all. I've been working an 8-hour and 45-minute day. It's weird. It's a weird shift. 8 hours and 45 minutes. It's so weird. Why not just 8.5 hours or just 9 hours? No, God, no. Please not 9 hours. Okay. My best bet at finding the truth. I thought Reza's involvement was undeniable at this point. That may be true, but we still don't have the whole picture. We don't know if others are involved or his reasons. I just want to know why. I see. Well, after reading up on the whole situation and hearing both of your accounts, I believe that Keegan is trustworthy. Nevertheless, I think Keegan presents a great risk. Why's that? After this meeting, I will hold a press conference to inform the public of the current situation. The people must know of the danger posed by Reza. No matter what Bryce and I think of your involvement, the public could feel differently. You, me, and Bryce will have to face the backlash resulting from this information becoming public. And what's more, Keegan, you might be in real danger yourself. Reza himself may come to silence you once he learns that you are helping us, or consider the public uproar from those who would question your involvement. All things considered, it would be for the best if you return to your own world until the situation has been resolved. I came to the very same conclusion, Minister. Then with your support, this is what shall be done. Please don't. You don't agree? If you send me back now, this diplomatic relationship is over. I'd have to admit defeat to humanity. There's no way I can return without your generators or RPDAs or Reza. Maybe you could explain to them what a great choice of an ambassador Reza was. But I was his partner, so in a way he's my responsibility. I can't just go back like this. I'm afraid that's not enough. It certainly doesn't outweigh our reasons for sending you home. Just let me explain. I'll tell you everything. Oh? Huh. Years ago, our world was prosperous. Our technology was far more advanced than yours even. Computers not only graced every household, but every single person. It was the age of information. Even children had the power to access the most advanced knowledge at their fingertips. With our PDAs, our interconnectedness with other people in our environment was greater than ever. I do want to say something about this. It really still astounds me to this day that we have the font of world's information at our fingertips, and we use it to look up cat and gaming videos and memes and all kinds of other pointless things that, I mean, admittedly, they do make us laugh. They make us feel good, but do they better us as people? Do they improve our well of knowledge? Probably not. But you can give humans everything they need to prosper. But if they don't have the drive for it, they're going to waste what you've given them. Anyway, from locomotion to repetitious work and household chores, many processes were automated to such a degree that except for our jobs and hobbies, there's nothing that needed to be done by a person anymore. Even the concept of someone wielding a weapon was outdated, as wars were no longer fought by people, but machines. Looking back, it was probably the single most prosperous time in human history. Exploitation of the environment and other people was at an all-time low, as was crime. Conversely, our technological advancements had drastically increased quality of life. Humans were no longer required for strenuous and repetitive tasks. Education had reached an all-time high, and many new jobs were created. General happiness had reached levels never before seen. Yet, one day, everything changed. Oh, damn it. Are we getting the Assassin's Creed storyline where the sun is going like... Where the sun... It was like... Oh, what is it? The sunspots are going to interfere. Oh, wait. The sun has scales! This is just the overlay. Or where was it? The sunspots are going to erupt and they're going to, like, wipe out all the electronics on the planet or something. Some silly stuff like that. A solar flare that was headed for Earth was detected by an automated monitoring system. It was determined to be so powerful that it dwarfed all others ever recorded in history. Yep, sounds about right. We had less than a week to prepare. Chaos hit much earlier than that, as people scrambled to shield themselves and their possessions from the incoming ion storm. On a worldwide level, power lines were switched off, satellites reoriented in space, and planes grounded to mitigate the effects that would hit us. Despite humanity's contingency plan for such an event and all of our efforts, we were still not prepared for the sheer magnitude of the solar flare that arrived. It was only then, when our race had become so dependent on technology, that we were immeasurably vulnerable against this kind of disaster. That day, a force with the power of 10 billion Hiroshima bombs was unleashed into our atmosphere. The eyewitness reports from this day were varied as they were terrifying. Oh. A huge, beautiful aurora could be seen on the horizon before fireballs hurled across the sky. They're probably the satellites breaking up in orbit. In some places, these lights became so bright that even those asleep at night awoke as though day had already arrived. A coronal mass ejection by itself did not have the power to kill anyone directly, but the side effects were disastrous. After the lights in the sky arrived, sparks showered from electrical outlets everywhere, igniting rampant fires in every town and city. Facilities that stored weapons, fireworks, or other explosives became centers of widespread destruction and loss of life. During the next stage, the solar flare started to affect body modifications and caused commonplace pacemakers and nanomachines to fail. 15% of the world's population died as a result of this alone. Once the full power of the waves hit us, however, society as we knew it collapsed in one fell swoop. Power grids on Earth shut down in an instant, as did all the machines that automated our routine tasks. Long-distance communication and transport became a thing of the past. Without electrical power, the quality of healthcare plummeted, and water and sewage systems were crippled. Diseases we thought defeated centuries ago made their comeback in a most unsightly fashion. Many thought the end of the world had arrived, and in a way it had. Some people blamed whoever their belief system would allow, angry at the gods that had forsaken them. Others pointed their fingers at our lifestyle and society, not that anyone was listening. Practically, we were back in the Middle Ages. Governments collapsed and were overthrown, and the ensuing power vacuums filled with groups of people that were sometimes organized and sometimes not. The few functioning electronic devices left became rare, sought-after artifacts over which battles and even wars were fought. Of course, there were also wars over resources and territory. The weaponry used was improvised or reclaimed from days when humans had been present on the battlefield. It had been ages, but people returned to the old bloody ways of war. Humanity is in shambles now. Those that I'd call family and friends now live with me in a giant, mostly self-sufficient city-state of survivors. A huge wall around the perimeter, guarded by militia, prevents any outside interference. It's the only way we can retain a modicum of power. Gangs of raiders and looters run rampant on the outside. They wouldn't hesitate to kill first and ask questions later if they had known about my PDA. Our contained community has flourished for years now. We have homes to live in, crops to grow, and livestock to raise, and still have our own automated hospital that runs on salvage generators. Lately, those supplies have started to run low, and dangerously so. The power we have is running out. Illnesses are spreading throughout the city, and treatment isn't as available as it used to be. Our population is dropping by the day. We took a great risk to increase the radius for our scouting missions, desperate to find something outside the wall that could help us. You already know the rest of the story. We found the portal, and you. And now you know why this whole thing is so important to me. All our hopes lie on acquiring the generators you promised us. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and pause it right here. Yeah, wow, that was heavy. Quite a bit of backstory in this episode. Ooh, can't wait to see what happens. Anyway, y'all, thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Leave a super thanks or tip if you can. It always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.